Good afternoon, all. This is Brian from Earth to Hearth, and so it's here. As I mentioned in the potato video, I was going to talk about our compost. So I did show kind of like how we do our just our general chicken manure and how I turn that and just kind of let that age. Over here is our 2 tumblers. Again, because of rodents and other things, I like using these versus the more traditional, where people do pallets and stack. There are ways to do that. I just like these. They're out of sight and mind. Like I said, I'm not as worried with when the other pile, because it's mostly just chicken manure. It doesn't really have any food in it, but for here, I do it. And the reason we have 2 is because I'm not great at composting. I'm gonna be honest. I know I'm terrible, but I find having 2 allows me to keep adding to this and fill it up. But because we have to keep adding and adding, it ends up getting to the point where you have some good stuff that's composted, but you keep adding and stuff, so it's never ever done. It's like the ever-ending or the ever-filling pot. So having 2 means I can fill one up, I can keep tumbling it, but once it gets to a point where it's full, I can stop and let it actually finish and compost, and then move on to the other one and then fill that one up. So this is the one that's currently being full, and the one over here is the one that's pretty much done. I'm gonna probably use that on the potatoes. So we have some eggshells in here. The eggshells don't really break down. There's some clumps, maybe not as dry as it could be, but I mean, if you smell it, it doesn't smell right. It doesn't smell like rotting food. It smells, just has that earthy, slightly sweet smell. So that's pretty much ready to go, but we're gonna just add this stuff here and let it kind of add to our compost. I have yet to honestly find a way to adequately make enough compost to meet our true needs. Unfortunately, I know we're all trying being sustainable, but for a lot of, like, if you're trying to do no-till, and we try for our raised beds, though we do some forking and other stuff, and it's pretty much impossible when digging up potatoes to not do pretty aggressive digging for it. But producing enough compost to meet even just like our garden bed needs is actually difficult without relying on off source materials. And this will break down pretty significantly, so it looks like it's filling it up. It is for now, and we actually are probably getting close to where this one will be done. Like I said, that one over there is done and ready to go out on the beds, so this one will then process. Again, I'm not great. I'm sure there are ways I could do this better. I do add a little bit of our chicken manure to it because it adds carbon, which is important if you're just doing like your kitchen scraps and then your yard waste. So, which that's always fun. And so how these work is it's just simple, right? You have a little thing here, and then see, how heavy are you? Oh, you're still good. And then you're just going to tumble that around. Sometimes it's good just to go slowly. There we go. Now we're getting mixed up. I added a lot of volume there, so it's going to take a bit for that to break up and start mixing in like a couple days. Luckily it's warm, so summer's always a good time. And you just do this a couple turns a day. I've been trying to be better about it. So that is the downside of tumblers, is they are going to generally do a less volume than your more traditional, just, you know, make a pile and turn it. But for me, I have a bad back, and this is so much easier than turning. Even though that chicken manure compost is pretty light, relatively speaking, it is still a heck of a lot more of a pain on my back than just twisting these around a couple times. Even this one's heavy, but it is still something that, you know, just one-handed's a little harder, but see, I can still do it one-handed. And that's not with the, and that's with, you know, my bad army back, and I actually have the arm has an injury as well. So with an injured arm and back, and this thing being pretty darn full and heavy, excuse me, I can still do it and not hurt myself. That's also the key thing. Like that, I'm not injuring myself doing that. Now these specific ones, I don't know if these are still sold. I don't think so. We got these years ago. These are like 65 gallons, so they're one of the larger ones on the market. A little bit of a pain to put together, but not super bad. Like, I honestly, I don't know, after I did the first one, it wasn't too hard. And like a little thing is, when you come to use it, the lids, I should have shown you, just down here, they kind of, you get it to the right angle. Again, with one hand, I don't know if I can do it with one hand, but it's just there. It'll just kind of lift out. Let me find that. There we go. See? And then it just kind of fits back in, and then boom. So that's what you'll do. That's what I do whenever I go to like empty these. Is I will just take the lid off, tilt to the side, and get a shovel and a fork, and just kind of get it all out of there. But yeah, that is our main compost area, and then our other compost pile, which I showed in the other video. So hopefully that just shows you that, you know, you do have options. You don't have to do the traditional, you know, get some pallets and stack them together and turn everything. You know, those certainly has their pros, but has cons as well. And these are, in my opinion, a lot less work. You do get less, or you have to be really on top of managing it if you want to get the same amount out of it. But I find that they are worth it for me, and also not having to worry about pests as much. So hope you enjoy.